this is Marlo Higgins, your Chief Inspirational Officer. And I was working with the team the other day, and we were having an all-team call, and one of the questions came up as far as, topics to lead and giving you information as our audience of, valuable stuff. And one of the conversations came up with, you know what, Marlo, I think you should reach out and talk to people about how do you keep one foot in front of the other if you are experiencing a personal setback or challenge. And how can you let that not derail what you do in business? And how can you keep a forward face and keep at it? Well, if any of you have read my book around page 109 to between 113, in there I share a little bit about, not much, but I do share that I've had some physical setbacks with me personally. And these are things that I can't control, I can't help them, and I'm not going to go into great detail into what they are, but there are very serious and strong health challenges that I experience on a regular basis, right, on a consistent basis. And I'm not, I don't hide from them, but my whole stance on that is you get what you focus on, and if I'm focused on like the negatives and the setbacks that I have, then you're going to get more of them. And so it's not that I brush it under the carpet. I'm very transparent, but for me, it becomes a moot point because I don't think it's even really a really big topic of conversation. But today's video and the lesson that I want to share is you can get through. And how do I do it? How do I have tenacity in business when I've experienced setbacks? Well, let me just take you back to a time, 2012, and when I reflected, I actually took myself out of the game professionally for an entire year. And I don't think a lot of people know that. But I had a circumstance come up in the fall previous, and I needed to figure it out. I needed to get really straight on what I was facing. And I took an entire year. I quit my job and I really just stepped out professionally and said, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what I can do. And then I'm going to give myself a year and get back on my feet. So that's where this video message comes from. That year, when I look back at my chart and working, I had 7 different specialists that I worked with that one particular year. I had over 54 tests, procedures, and things, surgeries happen in that one year. And if you do the math, that's more than something every week. If there's 52 weeks in a year, every week I was dealing with something pretty big that first year. And what was I doing? I guess, the biggest advice that I can give to you and the thing that I want to make this video most relatable is you don't have to take yourself, out of the game. What I did through that entire year, I set an end date. And I said by December 17th, that was, exactly the date to the year that I quit and got out of my my corporate positioning and said, I'm going to figure this out. I had a deadline. And that was one thing that I just kept telling myself, when it was springtime and it was May and it was July, I had that date that sat on top of me of December 17th. By that date, that was my deadline for me to figure out, put myself back in the game, what was I going to do next? And understanding that those different 54 tests, procedures, surgeries, everything that I was going through that year, they were things that, it really comes down to, I honored myself through the process. I just accepted what was going on and I honored myself. I did not beat myself up for not being able to be a producer or to operate a business or to work in my positioning as a professional. I had and was forced to step out. And because I honored myself, I'm a much stronger person today. That experience has guided me to help you get yourself out of stuck. And so let that personal story, and you'll witness it more and more, and this video is not the time to go into depth with it, but you can do things that if you are experiencing a personal challenge or setback, there are things that you can do that you don't necessarily have to just quit on yourself or just to absolutely throw in the towel. You can do a few things like I did. You can set a date with an end in mind. You can honor yourself along the way. You can recognize the different struggles or challenges that you're facing, and you don't have to use them as negatives. Rather, use that setback as your setup for your biggest comeback like I have. So love and belief. Have an awesome rest of your day, and thank you for watching this week's video.